And Notre Dame, I was talking to her, Muffet McGraw on the plane, and she said, "Hey, you never know," and that's true. That comment kind of stuck with me because they were joking around about they remember, and that's what I thought was really neat is they remember that exhibition game of 2 years ago. They play everybody under the sun. They play nationally. They play in the Big East, and they remember that team that they played against. That was a Division II team 2 years ago, and I thought that was a compliment. And a compliment to Katie and our team. And, I told them to keep us in mind when they want to schedule another one. But, as far as Katie, I don't know if I've had some really good players in the past, and I've had first-team All-League, first-team All-Americans. Stephanie Hyde was a wonderful player here at Hillsdale. I only got to coach her for 1 year, but she was a wonderful player. And I don't think I've seen across the board, even when I've been in this league at other schools, any player that has done what Katie has done. And I really honestly to this day believe that if the ball would have bounced a different way, we would have been the team that would have finished coming out of that regional. Mm-hmm. I really do believe that. We may have faced Michigan Tech again, but I really do believe that if that last play wouldn't have happened the way it did.
I want to go back. We're already up against it with 13 minutes to go here with Katie and Coach. But Katie, your junior year, were you surprised, or were you confident that you could do it?
I don't know. At the beginning, I didn't know what to expect because I, hadn't played in college really, and to be a starter. So once I got a couple games under my belt, everyone was just coming, where did you come from? What are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, I'm just playing.
Who the heck are you? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, as the season went on, I found new challenges, new defenses, new things. But I learned from every game. I remember, the first tournament of the year having, these silly turnovers that I don't remember ever having again. And I just learned a lot every game. I was getting better. The
thing that amazed me and the people that follow the team closely, every team we play tough. This is a tough league. The GLIAC is so competitive. From the top to the bottom, there's not a single week off. Mm-hmm. And these coaches have film, they read newspapers, they know they've got to stop Katie Cezat. They would be double team, triple team, quadruple team. It didn't matter. The thing that amazed me about your career was regardless of what they did, they couldn't stop you. You still put up the numbers every single game. I remember saying to Jim, you had a night when you had 18 points or something. I'm like, well, they did a great job on Cezat. She only had 18 because you put up such ridiculous, almost video game-like numbers that we've never, ever even heard of before. That when you didn't get to 20, which almost never happened, it was like you had a bad game. The fact is you never had a bad game. From our standpoint, you put up the numbers. You're the most consistent player I've ever seen. And doing all of this with these teams trying desperately to stop you. How were you able to do that?
Thank you. It was hard. Sometimes, I would just be thinking, okay, it's got to be happening sometime soon. The game, I remember my junior year, there's one game in Texas where I just really didn't do well. I don't know for what reason. But it was my, standout worst game of the season. I didn't get it. I don't know what I had, like 10 points or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing well. When's the game going to come where I get the 10 points? Or, I just really fall on my face. So I was kind of, I'd look at my game-by-game box score and see if there's any trends. see if there's, 5 good games, and then I do poorly, which is, probably not good for me to be looking at. But I was just kept, trying to prepare for every game. I mean, I worked really hard during the season with the other girls, with Brooke and Claire and Katie and, all those girls in the gym, and just tried to prepare for what they were going to do against me. We would have what we call a block party where I would go against Brooke and Claire trying to block every shot, every layup, and then they would double team and do the same to me. So it's kind of simulation. So just things like that, try to prevent.
We're talking to Katie Cezat and Claudette Charney from the Hillsdale College Chargers women team. I want to talk to you before you graduate, go away forever. You'll be back in 5 years before you can be in the Hall of Fame? Okay. And hopefully we'll see you at a game next year. the other thing is, you talk to people people were coming to see you, and people were coming to see Katie Cezat in this community and beyond. They'd hear about it on the radio, they'd read about, let's check out this Katie Cezat. And I really think the impact that you had on girls or women's basketball in this area is maybe even greater than you know. I had students at my school that talked about Katie Cezat. Young girls, you said you saw one at Walmart that wanted to give you a hug the other day. I don't want to get too heavy here, but you must recognize that you and your teammates had a huge impact. We talked before we went on the air. Having more people at a women's game than a men's game that followed it. We've never seen that before, at least I haven't. Did you ever think about that, or do you ever look back at it now and appreciate that impact that you've been able to have?
Yeah, like I was saying, I noticed a big difference between my freshman year and, the end of my senior year. I don't know if, Coach, you feel the same way probably, but there's, a lot more local support, a lot more, interest in the girls, and we were lucky enough to kind of have that at a lot of the schools that we would visit. I know we went to Michigan Tech, and, there's, 1,500 people at one of those games there, packed gym, and that's just really exciting to, it's Division II girls basketball, which I'm not, it's not everyone's favorite sport to watch, so I think it was really good to just bring more attention to it.
The other thing that people would say to me is, she had 33 or she had 28. I mean, you were so non-demonstrative. It was so easy for you, or at least it looked like it, that you'd be done and you'd look at the stat sheet and you've got 28 and 16, and everybody's like, well, I guess she had a good game, but it didn't really seem like that. Yeah. It was almost, it's amazing. It almost was like you flew under the radar, and yet you were putting up these crazy numbers. I don't know what to really ask you about that, but to me, it's almost like a credit to you and the way that I see women's basketball, having covered it now all this time. The men, they want to, pump their chests, and it's more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more about them individually, and I see the women's game really as more of a team game. What do you think about that?
I agree, and then I remember a guy we had come in for Spencer. I don't know what you'd call
Spencer
him. But he said, to act the same way if you miss a shot or make a shot. And I think, that was important. I think our team really, showed that, we're not chest bumping, or, we're getting excited
right.
if, we win,
right.
but at the same time, we're carrying ourselves very well, win or lose. And, if you knock a shot down or miss it, it's important to not let your defender know what you're thinking. So
let's go through some of the accolades, and then I have a few other questions before we let the ladies go. You were named the female, let me get this right, the Female Michigan College Athlete of the Year by the Detroit Athletic Club, and you will be presented an award at a banquet on Monday, May 11th. This is the fourth year that the DAC has presented such an award to a college athlete, so you're one of 4 people to win it. You put together a season for the record books in 08-09, named the Division II Women's Basketball Player of the Year by a number of different organizations. Your numbers, 29 points, 16 rebounds a game. You finished the season as the GLIAC champion, and at one point ranked as high as number 3 in the country. You hold or share a total of 33 records, including records broken at the school, conference, and national records. You were named GLIAC Player of the Year for the second time in a row, broke the NCAA Division II record for double-doubles in a season with 28 double-doubles. That's ridiculous. She was the only player in the nation with more than 100 blocks and 100 assists. She finished as the Division II leader in rebounds, block shots, field goals made, second in the country in scoring average. I can go on and on. You get out the media guide next year when we get our fresh copy from Brad. Your name's going to be in every category. You were a good passer. You blocked. I remember that game up at Ferris State. I was lucky to be able to go to that game when it was just, that game was nuts. I don't know, what did you have? 13 blocks. Nobody ever gets 13 blocks in a game. When you hear all of this, and you're going to have a trophy, you're going to have to build onto your home for all of this stuff. Anybody would have to feel great about it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I was very excited to get the last award, the National Player of the Year, because I was second last year, and that was, something that I thought would be really, that's a great honor to have. Not that, any of these are less important, but it was nice. I got to go down to St. Louis and receive it. It was a very nice banquet, and